And we're here to film the first video in the Techniques of Training Class 4. And my specialty that I picked is barrel racing. So I'm going to start out with kind of some of the more warm-up exercises, and then I'll keep going from there. So the first exercise I'm going to do is bend the rib cage, and I'm going to show that by trotting a circle and asking her just to bend around my leg and not use so much rein. And I'll do that both directions so you can see. So I'll get a nice circle going. So I'm just going to apply my inside leg onto her rib cage. And just ask her to bend nice and soft around. And then I'm going to keep some weight in my outside leg. That way we don't sink into the circle. I'm going to keep my hands nice and soft. And I'm going to keep this inside rein a little bit up. That way it keeps her bent in the rib cage, and then it also keeps her shoulder up. So now I'll turn around and I'll go the other way so that way you can see it both ways. And then it's just like I was doing, just backwards. So now I'm going to use my right leg, which is now my inside leg. I'm going to just be real nice and light in my hands and keep her broke at the pole. I'm going to keep my inside hand, my right arm, my right hand, I'm going to keep that a little bit shorter. That way it's bending her around. And just use my legs to bend her rib cage. And then say that she was to sink into the circle, if I just put a little more leg on her, she'll just move out, but she'll keep her body nice and bent. Now the next exercise I'm going to do, I'm just going to move her hindquarters over with my leg. So I'm going to keep my hands just kind of steady on the reins, and I'm going to keep my outside leg off of her. That way it gives her somewhere to move to. Should she need me to, I could bring my outside leg up to her shoulder to keep her shoulder from moving, but that's kind of what my hands help with too. So I'm just going to reach my leg back, kind of to where that back cinch is, and I'm just going to ask her to move off my leg. And I'll ask her to turn a whole circle. There we go. And then I'll ask her to turn around the other way too. So just the same, I'm going to just kind of use my hands to keep her from moving forward, and if I need to, I can use my outside leg to keep her shoulder. But I'm just going to reach my foot back and just kind of touch my spur on her hip, or just further back on her belly. And if I need to, I can just kind of roll my spur on her if I want her to move faster. So the next exercise I'm going to do is I'm going to counter bend her in a circle. So I'm just going to use my legs to keep her body, and then I'm going to use my rein to ask her to tip her nose out of the circle. So I'll start this at a trot, and I'll just get a nice circle going. Get her bending around the circle. And then I'm just going to simply tilt her head out. And I'm going to use my outside leg to keep her from turning out of the circle. And then my inside leg is going to keep her rib cage still. That way she doesn't try to turn in too much. And then my outside hand comes up a little bit towards my horn, just to help lift that shoulder over. Get a little more movement going. And then I'll bring her head down, back to the center. I just like bringing her head back centered just because I like the ability to move her face, whether it be to the outside, to the inside, but keep her still kind of more broke at the pole. That way it's not as soon as I give her her head, she's just like, oh, we're done, we stop. So now I'm going to ask her to turn around, and we'll try it the opposite direction. So I'm just going to get her trotting. I'm going to get her a nice circle and be broke at the pole and soft in the face and engaging those hindquarters. And then I'm just going to ask her to turn her head out by lifting my rein a little bit towards my horn. And I'm going to use my outside leg to keep her from turning in, or turning out of the circle, I should say. And there's those counterbends. So the next exercise that I'm doing it the entire time, I'm trying to keep her collected, and I'll lope a couple circles to try show that collection. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for her to stay broke in the pole and soft in her face, but I want her to engage her hindquarters and lift her back. So I'm going to lope her around and explain that while I lope her. So I'm going to ask her to break at the pole by squeezing my legs a little bit and making some rein contact. And then I'll get a little ways out so you can see this. Get her loping. And so I just want her to stay soft in the face, that she'll keep her head bent around in the circle and engaging those hindquarters. I'm going to keep looking around my circle to make sure that I keep my body correct. Ask her to back up, and I'll turn around and go the opposite direction, that way you can see it from both sides. So again, I'm just going to, if I need to, I can lift my inside rein just a little bit to keep her from dropping her shoulder in. I'm going to be looking around where I'm going. I'm just keeping my legs on her just if I need to. While collected to try to show it. It's a little bit easier to see at a lope, I feel, versus at a trot. And so one easier way to look for if a horse is collected is you'll notice that they'll lift their back and bring their head. They'll kind of tuck their head when they're broken the face, broken the pole. But they'll also be stepping further up underneath themselves. And that's where I find it easiest to look and see, is that horse reaching forward and are they collected while they do it? So our next exercise is spins, pivots, moving the shoulder, and what I've been doing is actually asking her to spin because I think it's a lot of fun, and she moves her shoulder pretty well, but it's just for us kind of developing her spin. I find a lot of fun. So I know it's not really an exercise that a barrel horse is going to be performing, but it does help to keep them more limber, so when you go to ask them to move, they'll move. So I'll show you just what we can do. So I'll ask her to soften her face. I'm going to tip her nose to the left a little bit because I'm going to start my circle. I'm going to turn towards the left. And then I'm just going to bring my outside leg, so my right leg, I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to use it to push her shoulder over. And I'll start with my boot. And then after that I might move to my spur if she needs me to move to my spur. And also make sure that I sit down in my seat, that way she's thinking, okay, stay on the hind end. And then my hands really don't do a whole lot because you don't want to pull the horse around with this. You just want to keep your hands there to guide them. But you really want it to be all leg. I mean, really, if you dropped your reins and you used your leg, you're going to know more if they can actually do a spin or a pivot or move off the shoulder, whatever you're looking to call it. So I'll ask her to break at the pole, drop her head a little bit, and I'm going to tilt it to the inside, and I'm going to bring my leg up, I'm going to turn over my shoulder, and I'm just going to ask her to step around. I'm going to use a little spur, make her go a little faster. So there we had a couple turns to the left, and now we're going to ask her to turn to the right. So I'm just going to ask her to soften her face, break at the pole a little bit, bend a little to the right, and I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to use my leg to push her around. My hands are just going to be there if I need them to guide her. I'm not going to just pull her head around, and I'm going to sit back and I'm going to turn and look, because when I turn and look, it's going to help bring my leg around. So I'm going to turn, there we had a couple spins. So I mean, if you were looking for an exercise when you're asking a barrel horse to move, say that you're training them on the pattern and you come up to the barrel and they have their shoulder a little too close to the barrel, all you're going to ask them to do is simply just move their shoulder off, and that's it. You're not going to spin them away from it, but this has just kind of been fun for me and her, kind of just developing our spins a little bit better. So our next exercise is rollbacks, and this really helps to get the horse working off their hindquarters, so when they run into a barrel, they're going to be easier. It's going to be easier for them to kind of get onto their hind end and turn around that barrel and power out of it. So I'm going to lope these in a circle, and then I'm just going to sit down into my seat, and I'm just going to turn and look towards the outside, and then we're just going to kind of just pivot off the back end and then lope out. So I'll get started and show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask her to soften her face a little bit first. And I'm going to do this at a lope, but while I do it, if she doesn't really turn, if she tries turning a circle instead of turning around on her hindquarters, I'm just going to use my leg to kind of push her over more. So I'll get her going. Make sure she's collected, that way she can stay on her hind end. So she was a little bit slow in that turnaround, and so I tried to just hustle her out of it. So what I just did there was, she wasn't so much raiding my seat. So when I sit down, I want her to stop, and then I'm going to use my leg and my hands, turn her around, and then we're going to lope off again. And so should she not really rate my seat, and she's kind of just like, wait, where's my rein cue? I'm just going to take a step back and say, hey, remember how when I sit, you stop? That's what I'm going for. So I might take a break here and there and kind of do that, but I'll keep going to show that we can do some more of these. So like that one, she kind of just easily slowed down, and I want her to stop when I sit. So I backed her up, and then move her around, and then cue her to lope off again. So I'm going to sit, turn her around, and then ask her to Okay, so the exercise we're going to do now is side passing at a lope. So I don't know if we'll be able to get it super well with our camera because it does kind of take a bit of space. But what I'm going to do, and I might not be close enough for the camera to hear me describe this exercise, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my horse loping, and then I'm just going to bring my leg back and ask her to side pass at a lope. So we're almost going to be moving diagonally, but we're going to be doing it at a lope. So I'm going to lope away from the camera first, and then I'll probably turn a circle back there and then lope back too to show you that she'll move off both sides. And this is relevant because when you're going around, say you get out of your first barrel and you're going to your second, say that you need to bring them, to move them over more, you're going to need to be able to side pass them at a lope to get them to move over. You can't just pull their head around and say, okay, now here's the barrel, turn their head and go. You know, you need to be able to pick them up and move them over, but without being aggressive about it. Because any fight that they give you is going to slow you down a lot. So I'm going to lope her away. I'm just going to lope across. I kind of described it the best I could. And if anything changes, I'll kind of describe why I'm doing what I'm doing. But I'll get her loping and I'll show you what we do. So I'm just going to bring her in a circle just to get her loping and get her soft in the face. And then I'm just going to put my leg on her and just kind of roll her while keeping her straighter. Now I'm going to go the other way. It wasn't very far, but the idea is to not be in her face too much, just enough that, you know, you can keep her broke at the pole. You don't really want to pull her head too far out of line, but it's mainly leg, and then your hands just help guide her straight. And if you need to, you can kind of lift your rein as you're going to keep her kind of moving her whole body over. But that was loping, or side pass at a lope, and we'll go on to our last exercise. So our last exercise is loping for speed control, and that's actually why I wanted to come to this arena, because we don't have a whole lot of space to practice at home, but that's where I've been doing all this practice. So I wanted to bring her out here to kind of show that she can do this with more room. And so I'm just going to be loping kind of a square, it might be a little bit more of a rectangle, and I'm just going to be riding her up into that. And then once I get her up there, I'm going to sit my body down and I'm going to ask her to turn. And this can help with building that speed with a horse, and you don't really want to start it too fast. You want to kind of take your time to build it. So I'm not going to be asking her to run too much because she loves to run in this arena. So I'm just going to kind of get her loping a little bit, and maybe I'll gradually ask her for more. But I'm going to use my seat to slow her down, because we're teaching her to rate my seat. So I'm going to sit down into my seat, and then I'm going to look and I'm going to turn her whichever direction I'm going in this circle. And then when I'm ready to speed up out of the corner, I'll get up here and I'll ask her to move faster. So I'll get her going and I'll show you the exercise. And I did switch to roping reins for this because it's a lot safer than trying to juggle your split reins. I'm going to sit, turn, I'm going to get up a little bit, and sit. That one was a little too much. She was kind of not reading my seat a little, so I was a little I'm asking her to stop and turn. So now that I got that out, we'll keep going. in. She wasn't really dropping her shoulder, but she was trying to sink into that turn. So what I asked her to do was I said, hey, let's stop here, and I'm going to kind of pivot you to the outside. That way she's not thinking that we just always come up and turn. Actually, this is almost a good spot just to turn her around and go the other way, but I like to do that more when they do the exercise correct. So she can get a little bit hot after this, and so you don't want to do this exercise a whole lot. But I'll go ahead and I'll ask her to keep going because I don't think she did quite good enough. So I'm going to ask her to lope. I'm going to ride her up. That's it. I'm going to turn her. Cue her to lope again. I'm going to sit. Get her to turn. That's it. Ask her to turn. Get her loping. Sit. Turn. I kind of just wanted to stop her there because I felt like she did a couple good ones, and I want her to know that that's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for, 10 of them good in a row. I'm just asking for her to give me a couple good ones, and then we'll just build on it from there because she can kind of get a little excited. So I'm going to turn her around, and I'm just going to ask her to go the opposite direction. So I'll kind of get her up into this corner, and I'll turn her, and then I'll get up and ask her to lope. Sit down, get up, sit down, turn, get up, sit down, get up. That one I think I was a little behind the game. She was also kind of trying to sneak in on that one, but I think I was probably giving her a signal to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to ask her just one, maybe two more. I just want her to lope up to the next corner and slow down without trying to anticipate that turn. So I'm going to ask her to turn and pick up to that lope while being soft in the face. I'm going to bring her back around because I don't want her to just kind of sneak off her way. So I'm going to ask her to pick up and lope. Then I'm going to sit, turn. I'm going to sit, turn. And then I just ended it right there because I want her to do this exercise correctly. The speed doesn't matter. It's right now, it's kind of just, I want her to make sure she does this correctly. And I want to show you that for what I've been doing with her is I just have her in a D ring that's actually a smooth mouth because I feel like everybody should train their horses while they're younger or while they're learning these techniques in something that's more understandable, whereas maybe a bit that has a shank to it is a little more confusing for a horse that doesn't know yet how to give to the pole. So if she's doing real good, I'll keep her in this. If she's getting a little pushy in the face, I might switch her to a twisted wire, O-ring snaffle, or a D-ring, just so that I can have a little more kind of leverage to get her to back off the bit, but I'm not going to move up to a harsher bit. I'm just going to keep her at something that's kind of a good communication tool, but has a little more strength to it. So I just wanted to show you that. And that was our last exercise. Again, I'm Brianna Kerrigan, and my specialty for this class is barrel racing. This is week 4, techniques of training 4. Thanks for watching and have a great day.